Hello, I'm Wendy. Today I'm looking at a watercolour technique called pen and wash, and I'm painting a thistle. I'm really enjoying the colours at the moment in the hedgerows and the meadows on my August doggy walks. I love the pink purpley flowers, especially the knapweed and the thistles. I think this larger thistle, which is called a spear thistle, very aptly named, makes a very good subject for a loose pen and wash study. This is a royalty-free image here that I purchased from Pixabay. I will put that link in the description box for you. You can access a lot of free images from them as well, but I rather like this one. And I use the information from this and from some of my own photographs to produce the drawings and the little sketches that I'm using in this video. My drawing templates are available and there's a link in the description box below. I shall be demonstrating how I painted this little picture here. I rather liked it. It's a loose study, but I'm still retaining, I hope, the character of the thistle. I think by putting on some of the random ink marks and the splattering, it gives the picture a little bit of life. It's not static, and clearly it's not a botanical painting, and I don't like to paint like that. I just like to paint the character of the flower and try and just get a little bit of movement and energy in there. A lot of people have trouble painting loosely in watercolour, I do know that, and I struggle myself, and it's one of the things that I'm constantly working on to get better and to improve. You do need to do a bit of groundwork before you actually go into painting something like this, so this first part of the video I'm going to show you some colour mixing, and I did some preliminary studies very roughly just to loosen up and get used to the paint and the colours, and I put that work in as well because I think it will interest you, particularly people who are just starting out in watercolour and maybe struggling a little bit with colour mixing and loosening up. It's important to get to know your colours. I'm using the Cotman Mauve, and I'm just doing some colour swatches, and I'm putting down the paint at its darkest near the top, and then I'm just diluting it down with water so I can see the darkest and the lightest colour I'll get from it. I really like the Cotman Mauve. It's a very good mixer, and it's a very similar colour to the more expensive artist version, the Winsor and Newton Cobalt Violet. I mean, Cobalt Violet is a lovely colour, but as I say, it is very expensive. I find it doesn't go very far, and I find it quite oily, so I don't find it's a very good mixer. You could try both for these pinks, and you've probably got a pink in your palette that will do just as well. But I do like the mauve. I think it's certainly worth investing in a tube of that. The other colour I used for the thistles was the Dioxazine Violet. Again, a Cotman colour, which I really like. A very good mixer. And I use the Dioxazine Violet for the darker tones in the flowers. If you don't have these colours, do some experiments with the colours that you've got to match the flower colours. There's not a lot of green in this picture. Use the greens that you like. Again, experiment with some mixing before you start the painting, as I'm doing here. The colours I'm using here for my greens, I've used some raw sienna and some sap green, and to darken it I've used some cobalt blue. I hear people saying a lot to me that they're no good at colour mixing. Well, it's not magic, to be perfectly honest. What you've got to do is what I'm doing here. You've got to get out all your colours, you've got to do some colour mixing, and again, and I think I've said before in my other videos, if you do this, then you'll get used to your colours and you'll know what to do. There isn't an easy shortcut, I'm afraid. I don't think you can learn it from books. You've just got to learn by doing it. And to be honest, it's quite fun. And sometimes when you don't feel like doing a painting as such, you can sit down for an afternoon, do some colour swatches, and remember to label them. I didn't in this case, but do as I say and not as I do. So I said at the beginning of the video, I did some little practices, if you like, just a few pencil sketches of the flowers, just experimenting a little bit with the paint, doing a little bit of splattering. I'm not that good at splattering, I have to practice that. And just basically loosening up before I go on to the painting itself. It doesn't matter how long you've been painting for, you do get out of practice, and you do need to do a little bit of this sort of work, I think, before you go into your main picture, whether it's a little sketch or whether it's a picture that you're going to hopefully frame. Just do these practices with your colours as well. You'll find it very helpful. You'll see I'm doing a lot of wet into wet work here. I'm trying to finish the flower painting all in one go without putting lots of layers on, just to keep it fresh. I like to work as intuitively as possible when I'm painting. I know it can be quite difficult and sounds a bit flippant, but if you work intuitively, see where the paint is going, see what colours you need to add. Go with the watercolour itself. Don't particularly always have pre-planned ideas on how you want to paint. Let the watercolour sort of do its own thing and adjust accordingly. The more you paint and the more you practice, then the looser your work will become. According to the title of this video, we're supposed to be doing pen and wash, and I've not got the pen out yet. You can start this technique as I'm doing by doing the painting first, which is what I like to do, and then putting the pen on. You can start a pen and wash painting with the pen. I tend to like to start doing the painting first and then putting the pen over the top. I think you will find doing it that way that you will paint a little bit looser, because you will think, oh well, towards the end of the painting I can tighten it up if I want to by putting the pen on. You can do the pen work as detailed and considered as you like, but in order to keep the painting loose and free, you'll see that I use a very sketchy sort of technique when I'm using the pen. So we've got all the groundwork done, we've got the colours mixed and all ready to go. I've done a nice simple drawing, I hope, of the thistle. Again, you can download that template. There's a link in the description box along with a few other odds and ends you can download. As I said, we've done the groundwork, and now, a bit like cooking, we get everything ready so that we're not having to mix and find things, and we can do the painting pretty quickly. I've got the brushes ready. The ink pens I use you might be interested in. The one I'm using on the video is a Zig Artist sketching pen, but I also use others, including the Faber-Castell range. It won't matter for this painting if you use a waterproof or non-waterproof ink pen, because you know, the painting underneath will be dry and you're putting the pen on top of it. So the next part of this video is me painting this picture from beginning to end in real time. I won't be doing a commentary on it because I've said I think just about everything I want to say when I was doing the studies leading up to this. As always, I hope you enjoyed the video and it inspires you to paint your own thistles, and do share your work with me in my Facebook group. I've put a link in the description box below. Also, before I go, I'd like to let you know that I've got a new website. The old website address will take you to the new site, and there's a link in the description box below. On the new site, I have a blog which I'm updating regularly. It has articles and short videos and watercolour painting, some of them pertaining to some of the work that I've been doing on my YouTube channel, so you may well want to visit that. Until next time then, happy painting!